Hello students, welcome to part 7 of how to program the video game Dog's Dinner using Scratch. So now we're going to create level 2. So we've created level 1. So from the costumes panel, let's click on level 2. Okay, level 2 should be, I hope, a little bit easier to create. Okay, make sure we're in bitmap mode. Let's click on the rectangle tool. Let's make sure that the rectangle is filled in, and we're going to use a nice dark blue here. Okay? All right, so what I want to do is I want to create a vertical bar that kind of extends from the top of the screen and goes all the way down to the bottom of the screen. Okay? Click outside of that shape to see it represented here on your XY grid on the stage. So this is actually, I was very lucky, I placed it in the exact position I want. I want it kind of in the middle of this block here, the first full block over. Okay? If yours is not in the correct position, you know how to move it. You can switch to the select tool to surround it and move it over. Okay? All right, I'm going to create my second vertical line. Make sure I'm on the rectangle tool. I don't have to change colors. And what I want to do is I want to create another vertical bar that's about the same width on this side of the stage or this side of the paint editor. And then click outside of that shape to see it represented over here. Okay, so this is where you want the second vertical bar, kind of in the middle of this block here. Okay, so I've been very lucky in my placement so far. Okay, again, if it's not showing the changes, you can click on Stage and then click back to Platforms. It's very important that you click back to Platforms. Okay, so we're going to create some horizontal kind of steps here. So I've got the rectangle tool selected still, so I'm going to keep the color the same. I'm going to create a horizontal step that goes almost more than halfway across. Okay, to see where it is, I'll click outside of that shape and I'll see it here represented on the XY grid. Now this is actually in a pretty good spot, okay, but I could lower it a little bit. So this one is going to be tricky because these lines overlap, so it's very important that you create the boundary right on the See, if you don't get it right on the boundary, then you're going to have this little piece here. So I'm going to undo, undo. Okay, so I'm going to select this and I can move it over. Can I move it over? Let's see if I can select it. All right, so I might be able to delete this. Let's see if I can delete it. Okay, so I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to, so again, sometimes you have to play around with it. Some things don't always work perfectly. So I just deleted it and I'm going to redraw it. Okay, I'm going to have a look at its position. All right, so this is kind of where I want it. I want it kind of in the middle of this block here going horizontally, and I want it to extend past this vertical y-axis here. Okay, I'm going to draw another horizontal bar, and I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to draw it out, and I want it to go past the middle again. Okay, click outside of it to have a look at it here. So the important thing is this horizontal line has to be below the x-axis and has to go past the y-axis over here. Now mine is a little bit high, so let's see. I didn't have much luck the last time, so let's see if I can grab this rectangle and let's see if I can move it down. Okay. Now, because I didn't grab it right at the right spot, I'm always going to have this little hump here. So is it better to redraw it? Let's see. Let's see if I can. I had problems redrawing it last time. Okay, so let's see if I can click on this, and let's see if I can delete it. Okay, so I'm going to click on the rectangle tool again, and let's see. Okay, click outside and let's have a look here. So this is actually in a much better spot. I've got it kind of in the middle of this block here going horizontally. Remember, I want it to extend past the y-axis here. Okay, all right, I've got two of my platforms ready. Let's draw the third one. So I'm still on the rectangle tool. And I'm going to draw another one out from the left, and I'm not going to go to the middle this time. and let's have a look at where it is. So this is actually a very good spot. I just want it a little bit above the x-axis, and you see how that it didn't go past the y-axis here. Okay, I've got one more level to go. So I'm going to draw from this edge, and I'm going to draw it out past the middle point, and let's have a look at where that is. Okay, so this is a good spot. I wanted it to go a little bit past the y-axis, but it's a little bit high. So I'm gonna redraw it, and I'm gonna try to make it a little bit lower here. Click outside of it. Okay, so I want this level to be just above this line. Okay. All right, so let's go to File, and let's go to Save Now. So now we've created level 2. So let's go on to level 3. So let's click on level 3. Okay? All right, so let's begin. We've got the rectangle tool, and let's use only the red color this time. All right, in the bottom right-hand corner, I want to create a little ledge right here. Okay, click outside of it, and it should be in the bottom right-hand corner here. So that's a good spot for it. All right, I'm going to click on the rectangle tool again, and this time, just a little bit above that, I want to create a long level to come out from the left-hand side. Okay, click outside of it and look at its position here. So this is a little bit low. I want this ledge to kind of go over top of this line here on the grid. So let's see if I can use the select tool, and let's select that shape. See if I can adjust it and move it up a bit. Click outside of that shape, click on Stage, and then click back to Platforms, and then have a look. So now you see how this ledge now is kind of over top of that line. It's actually a little bit low, but you know what? That's okay right there. Okay, so make sure you click back on Platforms. You don't want to be drawing on the stage. You want to be drawing on the platform sprite. So I'm going to draw another ledge coming out from the right-hand side like this. Oops, sorry about that. I didn't use the right tool. Let me use the rectangle tool, and let me draw a ledge coming out from here. And I know right away this is going to be too high. Let's click outside of that shape. So I want this ledge to be below the x-axis, below the x-axis. So I'm going to switch my tool. I'm going to highlight that shape. I'm going to drag it down. Okay, I'm going to click outside of the shape. Then I'm going to click on Stage, and then I'll go back to Platforms. And then see how now I've lowered it. It's still too high. I'm going to go back to the Select tool. Can I click on this? No. I have to make a new selection, and I'm going to drag it down even further. And I'm going to click outside of the shape. I'm going to click on Stage, and I'm going to click on the Platforms. Okay, so this is where I want it. I want this ledge to be below the x-axis. Okay, so now we're going to have another floating ledge. So I'm going to go back to Rectangle, and I'm going to have a floating ledge above that one. Okay, so let's see its position right there. I'm going to click outside of it, and let's have a look here. So I definitely want it below this line. I want to start it in this box, and I want to end it in this box. So actually for me, I was very lucky. I was able to draw it in the right spot. So if you need to adjust and move it, you know what to do. All right, so the last part of this level is I'm just going to draw a little obstacle here, right there. And then I'm going to click outside of it, and here's where I want it, okay? I want it to the left of the y-axis. To the left of the y-axis, and it actually could be, I can actually lower the whole thing a little bit. So let's see if it'll allow me to lower both objects at once. I'm going to click on the Select tool, see if I can highlight this whole thing, and can I drag the whole thing down a little bit. Click outside of that shape, click on Stage, click back to Platforms. All right, so I want this box to be either on the level of this line or slightly below it. Okay? Okay, so we've done something very complicated. We've drawn the 3 different levels. So now what I want to do is I want to add color to the backgrounds. So let's click on the stage info area to the left of the sprites list. Okay. All right, then we're going to click on the backdrops tab. So let's click on backdrop 1. Okay, backdrop 1. And then I want to use the fill tool. Let's click on the paint can. Okay. And then I just want to use a solid color. So for backdrop 1, I want a nice light yellow. So I'm going to choose yellow, and then I'm going to click inside this area to paint it yellow. Okay. All right, so this XY grid, I need to click on it and I want to delete it. I don't want to use that background anymore, okay, because that's the one we use to kind of line up all the shapes. So I'm going to delete it, and then I'm going to add a new backdrop. Okay, so I'm going to paint a new backdrop. I'm already on the fill tool. So for the second backdrop, I want to choose the soft purple. So I'm going to click on this purple or lavender and click on the backdrop here. So that's the second backdrop. So let's add a third backdrop. Let's click paint, new backdrop. And then for backdrop 3, I want to choose a light pink. So I'm going to click on this pink, and I'm going to click on this area to paint it pink. Okay, so our background levels are ready to go. So this concludes part 7 of the video game project Dog's Dinner. Thanks for watching. Bye.